So you have successfully created your new thesis document, either, as you can see on my screen, in Overleaf or in your local setup. The next thing you want to do is to adapt it to your specific needs, change the title page and add everything so that it becomes your thesis. If you're in Overleaf, the first thing you want to do is change the way your project is called. So it usually has the name of the default title that the thesis document comes along with, but just click on the very top here, choose rename, and rename it to whatever your thesis is called. I'm just going to rename it to my thesis. If your supervisor has created the project for you, they might have already done that in order to be able to identify the thesis among many others. Once you've done that, and this part also applies if you're working on a local setup, the next thing is you need to set the type of document you're working on. And the important LaTeX macro here is here in line number 12, the so-called document class macro. And this tells your document that it is using the HGB thesis class, which is what we want and which is the default here. But everything in these square brackets here, those are the things that you can configure if you want to. And there is one special thing that you want to set here. It is the type, because the default document sets it as a type master. And if you're writing a master's thesis, then that's perfect. Just leave it like it is and you're good to go. But if you're writing a bachelor's thesis, just change it from master's to bachelor. Press Ctrl or Command S to save, and you can see that the document is being recompiled and it's changing to a bachelor's thesis. If you're writing your expose, it has an additional argument here that turns it into an expose document. You don't have to change that. All the other settings should be fine, but you can change them at any time. You can see here there is the possibility to set a theme, but just leave it. If you're at the University of Applied Sciences up Austria, just leave it at the default theme, because that's the one that is usually required. And here you can change the language as well. It is already set to the correct language depending on the type of template you chose. So if you chose HGB thesis EN, then it is already English. But should you change your mind, you can always change the language here. English and German are supported, and the title page can have a separate language. So should your university require that even though your thesis is German, that the title page is English, you can separate those things here. Leave the smart quote option, because this guarantees you that if you press Shift and 2 to make your quotes, that it produces the correct quotes depending on the language you've chosen. So that is something you definitely want to leave in there. Once you've set the document class correctly, it is time to change the title page. And as you can see, here are a few things. They might change in future versions. So if you're watching this video at some later point, there might be additional versions, but they are usually self-explanatory. So go ahead and change those things to the values that represent your thesis. The title is, as you can see, the main title of your thesis. I'm just gonna call it my thesis title. If you have a subtitle, you can see it's been set here in a little bit of a smaller font. And if you want to have a subtitle, go ahead and set it. If you don't have a subtitle, you can either delete the line or just comment it out with a percentage sign. So as you can see, if I save it here, this removes the subtitle, because not every thesis will have a subtitle, and then it's gone. Add your name here. I'm just gonna leave it with Alex A. Wise Guy, and then add the name or the degree type that you're having. If you're doing a master's degree program, then leave it like that. If you changed your type to a bachelor's thesis, also change it to a bachelor's degree program, and then change the name of your program and the institution you're writing it at. The place of study is usually where your institution is located, and the date of submission is the date you're handing in your thesis. You can always change it. You can see the format is year, month, and day. Just change it to the day you're submitting your thesis. It will be reduced to the year anyway. And if you're having, and that is mostly the case, if you're having an advisor, add their name to the advisor command here. Let's call him Mr. Advisor. And as you can see, if I'm changing that here, it changes it to supervisor. And you can also have that it depends on your program. If you have more than one supervisor or advisor, just add a second line here, like it is already commented out. And what you can also do is in the optional argument here, you can change the way that the advisor is called. So if you call it, if you add nothing here, just the name, then it is Mr. Advisor. But if I'm adding second advisor here in the square brackets, then I can see that in here. So that is the idea, that you can add as many advisors as you need. It's usually 1 or 2, but it would work up to 4 in terms of space. The rest is usually fine. Should you want to change the license, the standard license is a Creative Commons attribution non-commercial license. Should you want to change it, you can switch the CC license to a strict license, which gives you an all rights reserved. Please just clarify that with your supervisor if you should or want to change the license. So that is all you need to know for changing the document properties, the document setup that you need to do before starting to write with your thesis. That works the same in Overleaf and for a local setup. And it always happens here in your main file. Main text, that is where all those things are set. Do that in the beginning, but you can obviously change it anytime you need to. If you want to know how to structure your thesis, add some chapters, remove some, rename some, then follow along in the next few videos where we're going to look at structure and formatting of your documents.